In this video, I want to talk about the composition of functions, which is a way to combine functions. Let's start by assuming we have two functions, f of x and g of x. And this here is how we denote composition, this little circle, and this is read as an of, so we have f of g of x. And this is defined as f of g of x. The idea being you give an input, we're going to start on the inside and evaluate g of x. So we have our input, we're going to evaluate g at that input, we get the output. We're going to use that output to input into f. Let's do some examples. Here I have my two functions, f of x is x squared plus 2x and g of x is x minus 4, and I want to find f of g of negative 4. Like I said, we always start on the inside, so I'm going to start by finding g of negative 4. This would be negative 4 minus 4, which is negative 8. I then use that as my input for f. So now I'm going to find f of negative 8. This would be negative 8 squared plus 2 times negative 8. That's 64 minus 16. And that gives me 48. I now want to find g of f of negative 4, so I've just switched the g and the f. And so I'm going to start with the inside, f of negative 4. That would be negative 4 squared plus 2 times negative 4. That's 16 minus 8, which is 8. I then use that as the input for g. 8 minus 4 is 4. So my final answer is 4. I now want to find f of g of 9. So I use different notation here, but it's still the exact same thing as the previous idea. We want to start by finding g of 9. That would be 9 minus 4, or 5. I then use 5 as the input for my next function, which is f. 5 squared plus 2 times 5. This will be 25 plus 10, or 35. I now switched it. G of f of 9, I'm going to start with f of 9. This would be 9 squared plus 2 times 9, or 81 plus 18, which is 99. I then use that as the input in g. So now I need to find g of 99. That would be 99 minus 4, or 95. I now want to find the general form for f of g of x. This means f of g of x. So once again, I'm going to start on the inside. I can't really evaluate, I don't really know much about g, other than the fact that it's equal to x minus 4. So I'm going to replace g of x with x minus 4. And now what this tells me is I'm going to look at my function f, and everywhere I see an x, I'm going to write down x minus 4 instead. So here I see an x squared. So down here I'm going to write x minus 4 squared. Here I have a plus 2x, so down here I'm going to write plus 2 times x minus 4. Distributing this, we have x squared minus 8x plus 16 plus 2x minus 8. So this simplifies to x squared minus 6x plus 8. Finally, I want to find g of f of x. So once again, I just switched the order of these. So I'm going to rewrite this by the definition, g of f of x. And we start on the inside. The only thing I know about f of x is that it's equal to x squared plus 2x. And now this says, look at my function g, And everywhere you see an x, write down this term instead. So g of x says x minus 4. So instead I'm going to write x squared plus 2x minus 4. And now I have my solution.